Hi guys, welcome to another Cobra video. I'm going to try and do this video a little bit differently to some of my previous ones on YouTube. The previous Cobra video that I uploaded got quite a few comments, private messages and everything, asking me why I was using particular products at particular times in the process. So I thought I'd do a little bit of an unscripted voiceover on this one, just to try and explain the process a bit better. Like I said, it is going to be unscripted, so do bear with me. But yeah, we'll see how we go. So this particular Cobra came into me. It's a Pilgrim Sumo. It's never had any paint on it whatsoever in the past, so it was just in its gel coat form. With that comes quite a few waves and ripples down the side of the car. Bonnet edge and everything was quite wavy from recollection. No real stress cracks or anything in this one, and it's been on the road for long enough to be able to settle down. So the gel coat on this one is essentially how it was, how it was going to be. So no major issues that we had to deal with, but just wanting to straighten up that body as best as possible going forwards. So the first job on anything like this is obviously just to strip the car down to its absolute bare minimum. All trim pieces come off. Just tidying up the boot gaps, door gaps, bonnet gaps, making sure everything fits absolutely as nicely as it possibly can. And then start prepping the car. I believe we went with a 180 on the DA here, just prepping the gel coat to accept that first layer of primer, which in this case is going to be our Novol for Classic epoxy range, which I believe you'll see in just a second. This is basically the foundation that we're going to use for everything. So it's the very first layer which goes on the car for all the classic car jobs that we do in the shop here, including fiberglass. It gives you a nice waterproof barrier, and it's going to be the layer that the filler and everything, all the bodywork essentially goes on top of this first initial layer. So yes, this epoxy for us is the critical first step in any restoration work. Fiberglass body vehicles, more so on the bare metal cars, I have to say. Just gives you a fantastic first base, corrosion resistance for all your bodywork to effectively go on top of. So the old school way of thinking is always to put body filler, fiberglass, etc. over the top of bare metal. We tend not to do that anymore, and it is just over the top of an epoxy base nowadays. So yeah, on a fiberglass body vehicle, in any case, we just have that extra moisture barrier. So that's why we use it as our foundation still on fiberglass jobs. So yeah, that's the two coats done there. As you can see, it was a cold few days that we had this in the shop, back several months now I believe. And then the first stage of this is just to block it down with a nice long block on a 180 grit most probably. And guide coat, just to see essentially where all our low spots are, give us a bit more of a visual idea of what we need to be working on specifically going forwards. So this is what the car looked like after a nice 180 block over the whole vehicle. There's black spots on the side of the car, basically highlighting the low spots. So that's essentially what we're going to be working on, trying to get rid of, making that side absolutely as flat as we possibly can. I think I went for a glaze to start with on the doors, because they were really minor, the imperfections in the doors. We didn't need much on there at all. And the whole car, on the side at least, is pretty much having a skim of filler. You've got to remember that most of this is going to end up in the Hoover bag at the end of the day, so there is barely any filler going on this car, but it is just a bit of a skim, just to straighten up those panels. Again, obviously being fiberglass, there's nothing else that we can do in terms of you can't dent pull it or anything like that. So we are working with what we've got, and again, it's just a case of blocking that filler down. 180 again on a block. Same with the doors, getting everything just as nice and straight as we possibly can, ready for the next stage.
Getting nice to flame. I'm the TNT, but you're the spark to blame, and it's fire.
So at this stage everything has been blocked back, nice and flat, we've broken through a few areas of the epoxies. You can see the blue areas there. Not a problem on something like this. It's to be expected when you're doing a lot of blocking work and everything. And there will be another epoxy layer going on a little bit later in any case, so not an issue. It's really just a case of trying to get everything nice and flat and as smooth as possible and as flat as possible down the side of the car. Getting rid of those ripples that we had along the bonnet edge there. And you can see now we're going to the next stage of spray poly. So this is essentially just giving us a really nice uniform fill again over the whole car, ready to block down again at the next stage.
You got me in a riptide. You call me crazy now, but you don't understand. I'm calling out to you. Can you hear a thing? 'Cause you lit the match that ignites the flame. I'm the TNT, but you're the spark to blame. And it's fire burning holes inside my brain. Feel the fire.
So after the car's had, I think 2 or maybe 3 coats of the Novol spray poly in certain areas, we're just going back in with a 180 on the block. Quite a nice aggressive cut on this because we want to be just shaping things up basically. We're still refining the shape of the car, making sure things are absolutely as straight as they possibly can be. We're going a little bit later to refine these sanding scratches, but at the moment we are just concentrating on getting things absolutely as straight as they can be. A couple of alterations with the bonnet vents. And at this stage we didn't really want to be seeing any breakthroughs. I think there's a tiny one down the bottom there, tiny ones towards the back end, but yeah, fairly happy with things at this stage. And then again, a bit of panel wipe on the surface just to see how straight we're looking, give you a bit of an idea of what final finish we're achieving. And yeah, I think I was quite happy with it at this stage really. So from here onwards we go back into the booth with a different kind of epoxy. This is a wet on wet epoxy, but essentially, so we started off with a foundation layer epoxy, all the filler work on top, which is porous, and then another epoxy layer on the top of that just to sandwich things in, sandwich all the porous fillers and everything together between 2 waterproof membranes, and then straight on with our high build primer. So after all that's done, we are back to the final blocking down. Block down the whole car once again, 320 on a block, and then refining it with a 500 interface pad on a DA. And that's it. That is our car now finally ready for paint. I think we've compressed several months' worth of work into a relatively short space of video there. But gives you a bit of an insight into what we're doing. Finally we're getting a bit of paint on the car. Black stripes for this one, so we started off doing the black base on the areas where the black striping is going to be over the whole car. Taping that all off, silver went on top of that, and then taped that off again for the white pin. But you know what guys, I think I'm probably going to leave you here for now in this video. The rest of the video pretty much speaks for itself, so I'm going to leave you to it. If you've got any questions for me at all, then please do reach out. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of that, or my mobile number's on there as well. Contact me via WhatsApp. Hopefully you found this style of video a little bit more interesting than my usual ones with just the music. I've tried to explain some of the process as we go, but yeah, any further questions, just give me a shout, and hope to hear from you soon. Alright, cheers guys, enjoy.
Want you to feel the way I feel inside. that gate, just please come and save me.